Okay, let's start. Obviously, everybody's been automatic here. Fernando Mendoza goes number one, as per usual. I will be honest with you, though, maybe an unpopular view here, but I don't think he's a slam dunk um, number one pick. I think any other year he is nowhere near the first round, let alone the first round pick. I believe Fernando Mendoza is Kirk Cousins 2.0. And another unpopular opinion, maybe, but I would rather the Raiders get someone like Kirk Cousins in and trade the pick. The problem is, who's going to trade with them? No one, I believe, will want Fernando Mendoza, or they're not going to give a haul up for Fernando Mendoza. I don't think Ty Simpson is that far behind Fernando Mendoza, and I believe, personal belief is, Ty Simpson has a higher ceiling than Fernando Mendoza. Fernando is the safe bet, though. As I say, he's Kirk Cousins 2.0. I don't believe you win a Super Bowl with Fernando. But I also believe that Ty Simpson is probably, could be a bigger bust because there's still a lot of projection in terms of Ty and not so much projection in terms of Fernando. What you get with Fernando, he's more robotic. Again, he's more Kirk-like. And Ty Simpson is a bit more of a wild card, but in my opinion, has a higher ceiling if everything goes right and if he goes to the right spot. So there we go, though. We are going number one, Fernando Mendoza to the Raiders. Pick number two, the Jets. A lot of people have different people going here. I think most people believe that they will be taking a edge rusher here, and David Bailey and Ruben Bain are the two names always touted. Even though I think that Sonny Styles could be someone worth mentioning. I know the Jets have spoken to him, so maybe he is also in the running because he's somebody that can play in multiple positions. My personal preference is Arvell Reese here. For me personally, Arvell Reese has a higher ceiling. I know most people believe David Bailey is the best edge rusher in the class, and he is the most ready edge rusher in this class. However, I believe Arvell Reese has more potential and, as I say, a higher ceiling. He is super explosive and very fast, as we saw with him running a 4.4 second 40-yard dash at the combine. He can play the role of QB spy very well. We saw him do that with Ohio State. It was done sparingly, but he can play there. He's also a linebacker, and he actually worked out with a linebacker group at the combine. But as I say, most people project him to be a edge rusher at the NFL level. But Aaron Glenn, he is seen as some sort of defensive guru. So he could play him in multiple positions because I believe Aaron Glenn is calling the plays next season. So if anyone can get the best out of him, they believe it is Aaron Glenn. So he'll be used in various positions next year. And to be fair, Arvell Reese has the tools to play in multiple positions. I just hope that they don't ruin his potential by playing him in so many different positions. If he is deemed to be a edge rusher, then play him as an edge rusher. Some people believe that he is similar to Micah Parsons, and I wasn't going to name Micah as that, but lots of people now saying he is like a Micah Parsons. So if he is, then let's just let him play as an edge rusher. Don't utilize him too much and ruin his chances. So there you go, Arvell Reese, number two to the Jets. Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals. I've seen more and more mock drafts now saying that they're going to be drafting a defensive player here, and it'll be Sonny Styles or Ruben Bain Jr. Maybe, but I just think that their O-line needs a lot of work to be done on it. For me personally, I think you still have to go with Francis Mauigoa from Miami. He is a plug and play ready right tackle now. I know some people don't believe he will make it as a tackle. Then he'll definitely make it as a guard. He is a great run stopper, and I just think the Arizona Cardinals have so much need on the O-line that they have to go with Francis here. I understand it's not the sexy pick. I understand a lot of people want to see a defensive player or a wide receiver or something like that. But it all begins in the trenches. And I think that if they can go back a couple of spots, great. But they're more than likely not going to do that. So just go with what your biggest need is, and one of their biggest needs, in my opinion, is the O line, and that's why I'm giving them Francis Mauigoa. Tennessee Titans here. Last time I gave them Jeremiyah Love in mock 2.0. In mock 1.0, though, I gave them Sonny Styles. I just, my viewpoint is that they did so much in free agency on the defensive side that they should look at helping Cam Ward. However, you still got Sonny Styles there and Ruben Bain Jr. there. They would be great additions to the Titans. Um, so it's a tough one, but I'm going to stick with Jeremiyah Love. I think he stands out there. And he's a great runner. He's a great catcher. He can go wide. He can be a receiver. Yeah, in my opinion, he's the best running back to come out of college since Saquon Barkley, in my opinion. I believe he's that good. So I think him coming along as running back will help Cam Ward out, and you bring back that Derrick Henry-esque offense over there. So I think Cam Ward needs a little bit more help. So I'm going to draft Jeremiyah Love to the Arizona Cardinals here. So New York Giants is a team that it'll be an interesting one. Sonny Styles, you can see there's a fit. Also, I know that Caleb Downs has been spoken about there because of his recent injury concern. People don't believe he will be going there, and they might go for someone like Sonny Styles. I just look at it and go, well, Kyle Hamilton was a big player for John Harbaugh in Baltimore. And I just want to go back. I had Caleb Downs here from the beginning, so I'm going to stick with Caleb Downs. I'd see he's not getting much love at the minute, so I think you need a lieutenant there in the backfield, and I think he'll be a great lieutenant. Now, would it be mad if Sonny Styles went in? No, I think Sonny Styles would be a great fit as well, but I'm going to give them Caleb Downs. Now we're on to the Cleveland Browns. Now, you can look at this both ways. Either they take a tackle or they take a wide receiver. I think their main need is tackle. However, I don't want to give them a tackle here because if you look at it, if you go to tackle here, you've got Monroe Freeling, who is the number one left tackle in this draft, in my opinion. And also for me, he is a step above Spencer Fano as well. And he's only just behind Francis Mauigoa. But I just think 6 too high for Monroe Freeling. I know it's a hell of a need. I just think it's a tad too high for them. That's why I'm going to go wide receiver. I'm going to go with Carnell Tate here. I know lots of people now saying that Carnell isn't the number one wide receiver in the draft, but I still believe he's up there. For me, he's wide receiver one. So I have to go with Carnell from Ohio State. I think he's going to be a good fit, whether it's Shedeur Sanders or whether it's Deshaun Watson starting as the number one quarterback. They need some receivers. So let's give them Carnell Tate there. Washington on the clock. With all this, I think they're going to run up and get themselves David Bailey. Personally, I think they have got a lot of needs, but I think David Bailey is sticking out to me. So Sonny Styles and Ruben Bain, obviously, but I think David Bailey here is going to be a great fit for the Washington Commanders. I think this is an ideal spot for him, actually. So I'm going to give them David Bailey. Then we go on the Saints here. Now, again, they're a team with a lot of needs here. But I think this is where Sonny Styles, he doesn't fall down past this spot here. If he makes it to 8, which quite likely he doesn't even make it to 8, but if he does make it to 8, then the Saints will run it in and get him at 8 here. Then Kansas City Chiefs, obviously, they got a lot of needs on the quarterback side of things, and I think with Mansour Delane here, there's no other pick here. I know they're still looking for an edge rusher, but I just think they got rid of 2 cornerbacks. They need to replace him, so and that's why we'll give them Mansour Delane right here, right now. The Bengals. Last time I gave him Ruben Bain Jr., I'm going to do the same again. I think he's a good fit. Again, I don't think he's the the prime player, but with Trey Hendrickson going to Baltimore Ravens, I think they do need somebody in his place. And Ruben Bain Jr. in his pro day just absolutely smashed it, was incredible. And I actually think he's going to go before pick 10, if I'm being honest with you. But with the same with all drafts, we can all look at these drafts and pick different players in different positions. I know some people will disagree with some of these players right here, right now, and go, well, we have more needs. We need a tackle. We need a linebacker. Well, I'm giving you Ruben Bain Jr. to try and replace Trey Hendrickson. I think he adds a lot, and I don't care he's got small arms. I think he will be. I'm not sure he'll be a Pro Bowl like ex player, but I think he'll be a very very good solid player for the Bengals. Then we're moving on to Miami Dolphins, again, another team that's destroyed their team and looking at 2027 and beyond to try and fix their team. This is an easy one. They need a tackle. Spencer Fano will go there. He'll start off as right tackle, and if he doesn't succeed there, then he'll go in as guard. But that's a simple one to do. There's no other pick there. They have to get a tackle. He will have an opportunity at right tackle, but if that doesn't work out, he will definitely be a guard and a very good guard for them. They've, as I say, they've destroyed their team and they're planning for the future, and he'll be a great asset for them for many years to come in whichever position he plays. Then you got the Dallas Cowboys. It's a simple pick. Dylan Tieneman from Oregon. He had an outstanding combine, and they need, again, they're depleted on the secondary. So Dallas Cowboys need help there. I know they still need more defensive help as well because they can be a very weak team on defense this year. But people, I think, underestimate the secondary. Last time I picked a safety and a quarterback for them, and people were like, oh, well, we need more than that. They're never going to take those kind of players. Well, they will because they need it. People underestimate, quarterbacks, cornerbacks. People underestimate safeties. When you've got this kind of quality player there, you have to take him. So that's where he goes. Then we got LA Rams on the clock. Last time I gave him Monroe Freeling. I do believe that he could be a fit here. It's whether they want to take a wide receiver here or not. I don't know. I have to give him Monroe Freeling. He still needs a lot more development, but his ceiling is super high. It's super high. I generally think that in 5 years, when we look back at this draft, he'll be the best tackle to come out of it if he lands in the right place. I think going there to LA with the Rams will be a great start for him. And I think if he can, sit a little bit, I don't think they will, but yeah, he needs a bit more development. And I think he'll get a little bit more time and patience with the Rams, but he could be incredible. Then we got Baltimore Ravens here. I think that they will go and take Makai Lemon here to get extra ammo for Lamar Jackson. He needs a few more. He's lost Isaiah Likely. So getting them Makai Lemon, who is people are polarized with him. Some people love him, some people hate him. Based on his interview with the combine, he didn't come across great. But look at his tape on the field; he is incredible. So based on that, he could be a great fit for Baltimore, and Lamar Jackson will love him. We then go to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This one is another one that's a little bit tough. They do need a tight end. That is one of their main needs. They also need a guard. It's whether you go with Kenyon Sadiq here or Ione here. I think we will give them Kenyon Sadiq. I actually think Kenyon could actually go to Baltimore Ravens as well, but we're going to give him here because they have that need. And again, he's somebody that stands out. And I just don't know. I just hate seeing him going to Tampa Bay, but it is a need. Mike Evans is gone. Baker Mayfield needs more weapons as well, so it makes sense that he goes there. If he doesn't go there and goes to Baltimore, then you can bet your bottom dollar that the Makai Lemon goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So those two picks are interchangeable, I think. Whichever one goes to Baltimore, the other one goes to Tampa. Now the Jets. Now a lot of people projecting Ty Simpson to the Jets at 16. I'm one of those that hope that he doesn't. I mean, some people are saying that Ty Simpson's going at pick 6 to the Cleveland Browns. I don't know. I don't see any of that happening. I don't. I would hate to see Ty Simpson here because, again, even though Frank Reich is the offensive coordinator there and he is a great QB coach, I just don't want to see him there. I just don't. Let Geno Smith cook there for a year or two. Next year they got 3 first-round picks. Let's just see what they do with the QB group next year. There's loads of QBs in there. Just get one of those, I think. I don't think that Ty Simpson is a great fit for the Jets. I think he's got high ceiling, but if he goes to the Jets, I'm afraid I don't believe he's going to last 4 or 5 seasons with the Jets. Look at what they did to Sam Darnold. Look what they did to Zach Wilson. They can't do anything there. And yes, it's coaching, but it's just also the environment of what New York is like. If you don't succeed straight away, they want you out, and there's a lot of pressure there. And I just don't want Ty to go there. So that means who goes there? Well, I think with the Veritaka leave it, there's a space there with a guard, and I'm going to give them Ione there from Penn State. He's a natural fit there to replace Elijah Veritaka, who went to the Patriots. So that, again, is a simple call, in my opinion. Now we go on to the Detroit Lions. This is an interesting one here. They've got some tackle needs here, so you could look at them going for tackle. But they've also got some defensive needs as well. I can see CJ Allen going here. Where's the next tackle? Where do we have tackle here? Blake Miller. Do they overstretch a little bit for Blake Miller? Because if Blake Miller, I'm going to go with Blake Miller. Blake Miller, I do like Blake Miller a lot. Now, Clemson don't normally get offensive tackles drafted very high, but I do like Blake Miller. He is a grinder. I think he fits in. He's a right tackle. Penei Sewell plays there, but now the deck is gone. I think Penei Sewell can go to left tackle, and that's where he played for Oregon anyway. So let's put him in a left tackle and bring Blake Miller in and play right tackle. I think that's an amazing O-line then. That, I think, secures that O-line for years to come, with Penei moving left and Blake Miller at right tackle. I like that a lot. Then we're on to Minnesota Vikings. Again, where do you go here? I think they a lot of needs they're addressing. Kyler Murray's there. Do they want to get him? I don't think they need a wide receiver. There's no running back here to help him out. There's no real tackles, guards I want to select here to help him out. Obviously, the Ryan Kelly retired, so they lost their starting centre. But there's no centre here that I would want. So I'm looking at this going, where do you go? CJ Allen's there, Jamal McCoy is there. I think I would go CJ Allen here. I don't know why they don't really have the necessity for him as a priority, but there's no one really here. Unless I just go with Jamal McCoy and gamble it a little bit. Maybe just gamble here and just go Jamal McCoy. Let's just go McCoy here. You know, he will go high. I know he's got some injury concerns, but he will go high. And I think, I think this might be a good spot for him with the Vikings. And they do have some needs in the secondary. So, let's go there with Jamal McCoy. I like that, actually. Now we're on to Carolina Panthers. I think they're going to go with Jordan Tyson here, another wide receiver, another weapon for them. I think that's going to be good for them and for Bryce Young as well to put that in place. He's seen by many as wide receiver 1, so that would be interesting. But then we got the Dallas Cowboys on the clock. I took a safety last time, so this time I'm going to take CJ Allen. This is an easy choice for them, just to run up and give them CJ Allen straight away. There's no even choice here. They need linebackers. So He's standing straight out there. So there's no even debate to it. It's just run up to the podium. There you go, CJ Allen. Then we're on to Pittsburgh Steelers. Now they are projected to get some sort of tackle or guard, but there's not really anybody here that you would take. Aaron Rodgers still obviously hasn't signed, so they still got maybe QB need, but I'm not taking Ty Simpson here. I don't think he will go here. I think Aaron Rodgers will sign with Pittsburgh Steelers, and they got Will Howard there anyway as well. So I think Will Howard will be the backup this year moving forward. So I don't know where you go here. Every need they have is covered. So Caden Proctor, man, I think you got to go Caden Proctor here, but it's a bit of a stretch if I'm being honest with you. But Caden Proctor is a great player. He's going to be solid for them. He's going to be either play right tackle or he'll be slotting as guard. He's likely to be a guard if I'm being honest with you. So I'm going to draft him as a tackle, but he'll be a guard for the Steelers. I don't think anyone else fits there. I think that's the ideal fit for them. They don't need it. Well, they could do with another wide receiver. Everybody could, but they got Michael Pittman Jr., DK Metcalf. I mean, yeah. I'm happy to get him a tackle, get him a guard there to protect Aaron Rodgers or Will Howard. Now we got the Chargers. The Chargers, I do believe they will go for wide receiver and Omar Cooper Jr. Even though I don't think he is the best combine, I still believe he is. We see him how he performed in the playoffs. I think that this is about the correct place where he will go, and I think he'll fit the system. I think Justin Herbert's going to love him. You just got to be a little bit careful because Justin Herbert throws a lot harder than Fernando Mendoza used to, I believe, anyway. So that's where we're going to give Omar Cooper Jr. to the Chargers. Now we're on to the Eagles. So we've got the Eagles here. They are rebuilding some of that defense. I mean, they draft so well, they can't keep all their players. So they're going to have to redraft a lot of players. And I think Akeem Messidor falls to them a little bit here, the edge rusher from Miami. I thought he might be gone a little bit earlier, but because they draft so well, they can't pay everyone. So over the next few years, they're going to lose players. So they need to rebuild. So shout out to their front office. They're incredible. But I think Akeem Messidor needs to go to the Eagles. Then we're on to the Cleveland Browns again. Now, this is where you look again for a tackle. Max Ianaka. Do you just go with that and just or do you go Caleb Lomu, in the second round and hope he is there? Do you risk that? It's a need. It's a big need. And if you go in wide receiver with the number 6 pick, then you know that you might not get your player where you need it. But so I'm going to have to go with Max Ianaka here. I don't love it, but they need tackle help drastically. They also need guard help. Now, they don't have a left tackle. That's why Monroe Freely makes sense at 6. But I also hate that. But they need O-line help dramatically. But also need wide receiver help dramatically. So let's give Max there, and he'll probably be either right tackle, even though they got Howard from Texans there now as right tackle. He might be future right tackle, or he'll be a guard in the interim anyway, whatever happens. They still have left tackle to address, and if he falls into the second round, maybe they do pick up Caleb Lomu to play left tackle for them. And even if they do, that's not a bad move. I'd love that move for them if they're able to do that, because then they really do secure that. If the Cleveland Browns, I'm saying this now, Cleveland Browns are able to get Caleb Lomu in the second round, then they are laughing, because they have just got 2 really good O-linemen and a wide receiver at 6. They have fixed a lot of issues, if that's the case. Then we got the Chicago Bears. The Bears bear down on the clock, and I'm going to give them Emmanuel McNeil-Warren here. They have safety needs, and again, sometimes you don't even have to think about it. They just falls to you. Do you know what I mean? So that was an easy one to give them um, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. Now we've got Buffalo Bills on the clock. They still haven't re-signed Joey Bosa. So again, I know that they got Chubb in, Bradley Chubb, but they'll get Keldrick Falk in to play opposite him on the edge there. And I believe that is the place that they'll go. They're not going to re-sign Joey Bosa, so they're going to go with Keldrick Falk from Auburn, who doesn't get much love, if I'm being honest with you, but that's where I'm picking him anyway. Now on the clock is the San Francisco 49ers. Where do you take? Where do you go with this one? Again, they have to prepare for the future. Now, are they a team that might take Caleb Lomu here? And the reason I say that is because they will have left tackle need in the future. They still don't have officially don't have a left tackle for next season. I'm sure they will, but do they bring Caleb Lomu to play guard and then move him to left tackle when he needs to go and play there? Trent Williams is not going to be around for much longer. So I know people could be screaming, going, "What are you doing?" But I'm future proofing it. Caleb Lomu can play guard right now, and then he can move over to left tackle. That's the plan. That's what I'm going to do. I'm future proofing. Future proofing. When Trent retires, that's your new left tackle there. And if he doesn't work out, he still is a great guard. So thank you, 49ers fans who will hate that pick, but I love it. So the Texans are on the clock, and again, they've had a really good offseason, in my opinion, overall. But now they have certain needs, but the prime needs they have is a running, as in running back, but there's no running back I would take you this high. So there's no real tackles, guards, or anything here. So you have to look at the defensive side of it. Will Anderson's there. They got a great elite defense, and I'd rather give them someone on. Actually, do you know what? I've just seen Denzel Boston still out. I'm going to give him Denzel Boston. They need CJ needs some help. So it's a make or break season for CJ Stroud this year. So let's help him out. We can't help him out on the O line, so let's help him out on his weapons. Let's get him Denzel Boston from Washington. Kansas City here. I think I gave them a cornerback. Let's take a look. I give him, Mansour Delane. I'm going to do here what did the Cowboys last time, and you're going to hate it. But you know what? I don't really care. I don't really care. Because Avion Terrell is there, and they've just lost two cornerbacks. Now they are replacing two cornerbacks with two elite cornerbacks. You know, even Terrell, his brother AJ with the Atlanta Falcons was pick 16 back in 2020. That's an incredible there. And we got somebody from the same pedigree here. So I know some people say, oh, Cassius Howell should be going here as edge rusher, but no, I don't believe Terrell will go here. And I do not believe the Chiefs will select two quarterbacks, but I'm going to because they have the need. So, you know, and I think they might look at people like Tariq Hill and stuff in free agency. Stephen Diggs may be in free agency once we know what happens to his court case. So why not? Why not do that? I also believe there's edge rushers you can get in the second round. So yeah, I like that. I know people hate it and go, "You're an idiot. You don't know anything about football." Yeah, that's true, but it's my mock draft, so I can do whatever I want. You know what I mean? So, pick 30, Miami Dolphins again. Where do you start? I'm not very high on Peter Woods, so I'm just going to go here. I'm just going to give him Cassius Howell to try and replace Bradley Chubb, and other, other players that they've lost and given away. So, yeah, So I'm going to give them Cassius Howell, but that could be anybody because they need a wide receiver. They got so many needs. They've just, like, Jalen Waddle's gone, but there's no wide receiver here. Who are you going to take as a wide receiver here? Casey Conception? But I don't know. Just going to give them Cassius Howell. Then we go into the Patriots here. And this is actually somewhere I may actually consider taking a wide receiver instead. I actually might put, now Stefan Diggs is gone, I might give him Casey Conception here because they have a need now. So why not put him there, see what happens for him? Maybe he should go to Miami Dolphins, but if you're going to destroy it, just destroy it. I wonder if Malik Willis knows that he's been tucked over in Miami, that he loses all his key players. But anyway, Casey Conception to the Patriots. They got many other needs, obviously. There's no tackle or guard that would take here. D-line, maybe Katie McDonald will go here, and it's likely he probably may go there. I don't see Caden dropping out the first round, but unfortunately for him, in this mock draft, he does drop out of the first round because for the Seahawks, I'm giving TJ Parker. So that is it. But that does show you, though, hopefully, that there's so many people still not drafted here that could definitely go in the first round. And there's people here like, you can say Kean Proctor's too high. You've got Caleb Lomu, who most people see as a second round pick. And I agree. I don't disagree with that. So there's probably players here people have in the second round, but there's so many needs out there. And, as I say, Peter Woods is one that some people have very high. Some people have him going 10 to the Bengals. I don't have him that high. I thought he had a very bad season last season. So anyway, that's my mock draft for 3.0. We'll go more in details in further drafts in the future. It's supposed to be fun, people. Don't take me seriously. I'm only going to really do the proper mock drafts once all the pro days are done and we get all the scouting reports for everything. I get most of my scouting reports from PFF, and also obviously you utilize what you see from the media that shows certain amounts of pro days. So yeah. Once all the pro days are done, we'll see more, and we'll do a proper mock draft after that. Anyway, if you've made it this far, which most of you probably haven't, give me a like, give me a subscribe, and yeah, let's do this together. Let's get the draft season out of the way. Let's get into college season, and let's get into NFL season. Thank you, everybody. I'll chop you out.